I bet I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Yeah. Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar.
Man, we're back with the Gritty Gamblers. Man, you really love that intro. I love listening to that music, the old Shane McMahon WWE intro music. You know how it is. Only the real ones know. I'm here with my boy Matt Casa and Parlay Joe. We're going to be some of your hosts for the Gritty Gamblers. We got a little bit of a different thing going on this year. We'll have rotational hosts, so every week there might be somebody different. But we're going to come to you every single week, maybe even twice a week, to get you the plays that you need to cash those tickets, guys. So without further ado, we got games on tonight. I'll pass it right off to you, Matt. We'll play with what's your parlay for the night here?
So what I was cooking up over the afternoon, it's been hovering around anywhere from plus 340 to plus 350 to plus 360. It finally sat around plus 350 when I placed it earlier. What we're looking at is Nebraska plus 8.5, as well as the under of 46.5 on that game. It's an alt under and an alt spread because the values were so decent. Because when you're looking at alts in main so close to the main spread, you're going to get somewhat decent value most time than not, especially when you're one number off. And that's what I was looking at in the Nebraska game. With Matt Rule coming in this year, I really think they're not going to win the game versus Minnesota, but they'll be able to hold their own. And I don't think that they're going to get blown out of the water, which is why it's going to be a game I think that will go under, because both teams are really just running tough. They're two Big Ten teams. They're not really going to throw the ball willingly.
Word. So it was the under 46, and what was the other play there?
It was the under 46 and a half. It was plus 8.5, and it was also the main play of the day. It was Florida plus 6.5 for me. Yeah. Which is probably going to be my best bet. I mean, I know FanDuel's running a promo on that game right now, which is a 30% odds boost on that game. So when I bet it, it went from minus 130 to minus 105. So you're getting it right under the even odds if you're betting that. So it's a good bet.
Yeah, I actually slid in to that Utah game. I slid on the Utah side minus 4.5. So I got that about an hour ago when I locked it in. So, we can both cover. Hopefully it spends right around that 5-point line, and we'll both.
I just didn't see Florida losing their first game by a touchdown or more. They might lose for sure. They probably will lose, but I just don't see them losing by more than a touchdown.
So my thing was that Utah's brought back at least 8 people on their offense. Florida lost a lot of their skill position players and 2 more players on their offensive line. They lost Anthony Richardson. So it's kind of like it's college, so you don't really know what to expect with week 1 with all these new transfers, all this stuff like that. So I'm going to take the team that has more continuity coming into the year. That's kind of what I liked on that. I am with you on the under. I got it under 42.5 for Nebraska, Minnesota. I wanted it a little higher than that, but this is just kind of I'm cool with this. I was afraid to play at anything under that, the 42.5. Then I have under 46.5 at NC State and Connecticut. NC State's got one of the best defenses in the nation. UConn is, again, another unknown team on the offensive side of the ball. So I just think it's going to be one of those rock fight type of games, grind fest, 17-14. And then
the trenches type of game,
yeah. Then I got the under 54.5 in Central Florida, Kent State. Both of these teams play at a very slow pace of play. They don't get a lot of plays off in a typical game. So I think that UCF is just a really, really good defensive team, and Kent State lost a lot of their starters from last year. I think they're trying to rebuild that whole unit, and I could see UCF kind of beaten down on them 38-3 or something like that. Not going to see a lot of points scored from Kent State, in my opinion. But so that's my parlay. I got that at plus 1,244. I threw $5 on it, so hopefully I can come out with a $70 night. Parlay Joe, what do we got cooking over there, buddy?
What up? How we doing? So tonight I got a little 2-legger parlay. I got I like where we're headed with the Nebraska, the plus points, but I'm taking on the money line plus 225. Going big, Matt Rule. I like what we're working
Roll
with.
the
I like
dice
what we're
on
doing.
this.
He's
Oh.
back. What he did with Baylor was something incredible. I don't think he's that good of an NFL coach. I think he's a great college coach, though.
He's a program changer.
Yes, he really is. I think they find a way to squeak it out, or they're going to win. Especially after with I think they had kind of embarrassing loss last year. But a lot of losses last year were kind of embarrassing for Nebraska.
I mean, yeah, they were the whipping boy of the Big Ten at one point.
Definitely. So also the second part of the parlay, I have NC State, UConn, the under 46.5. I really like where we're at right there. There's a good money coming in on that play, so I like what we're doing there. And then I also have a single. I just have Nebraska +7 as well, single.
So then,
Nice.
what I'm thinking is, I really like where you're going with that because that parlay Joe smack right there with that.
Yeah,
money line
+520 with the odds on that parlay as well.
Yeah, two leggers too. That's the thing. You're keeping it low legs, but it's high odds.
High odds.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think we're all kind of in line here on the NC State under. We're all kind of playing that. We all think that Nebraska Minnesota is also going to be a rock fight. It's going to be some good games on tonight, I think. UCF's actually starting now. They're moving the football. They just got a nice 1st and 10. They just got a nice 13-yard pass play. So like I said with that, I don't see the Golden Flashes putting up many points against the Knights here tonight. But yeah, so it seems like we're kind of in line on our plays for tonight. What do we like for the weekend? We could each just do one play each and go around and do, instead of doing all three at once. Matt, parlay Joe, you start first since you went last in the first part there.
All right, sounds good. So I have I'm gonna keep on keeping on with what I did last week. I'm riding with Hawaii. I got them plus the points. Right, it's falling down. It's +3.5. Looks like it might have just went down to +3. I like where we're going there. Depending on where we go with that, may take the money line. And then I'm going to stay away from the over-under on that. But I definitely like Hawaii to cover. Opened at +9.5, so it's had a lot of movement.
Yeah. Matt, what do you think? What's your number one What do you think of the Hawaii play first? Then you hit your number one play of the week.
I think the Hawaii play is a great play because it's a game that probably won't have as much money on it. So therefore, you're going to be able to attack it more as the line moves, and the line movement alone is a beneficial thing because if the line's moving towards where we need it to go, then you're going to want to attack it as much as you can before you see the line adjust.
Yeah.
But,
So what do you like?
I'm going for the jugular, man. I'm going for the big game of the weekend, LSU, Florida State. I'm taking LSU -2.5. There's no straight spread right now. I mean, this LSU team is hungry, you guys. I mean, Brian Kelly's going to have them boys playing this year. They're making a run for the playoff potentially. I think they're going to go into Orlando and play Florida because I think the game's in Orlando for Florida State. And I really think Harold Perkins is going to introduce himself to Jordan Travis this weekend.
All right.
Yeah, it's going to be a monstrous occasion, and LSU is going to come out and put their foot down as one of the best teams in the nation.
All right. I like dedication. I like your confidence in that. So yeah, I actually have the over 55.5 for the Hawaii game. I was afraid to kind of take Hawaii. Just they're two teams that we don't really know all that much about. I do think Hawaii has more stability in their program currently than Stanford. Stanford's doing a lot of reworking their team. So I like the over, though, because that Hawaii is probably going to score points here. Their defense isn't that great. So I'm pretty sure Stanford has 2 or 3 quarterbacks that are going to take snaps in this game. They're trying to figure it out. But their secondary is beat. So all we're really looking for here from Stanford's 14 to 20 points. I think Hawaii kind of handles the rest and hits the over on that. Then my second one of the weekend, I'm going Drake May. I'm back in the Drake May train. I don't know why this line is the money line is only at minus 128. That's what I got it at, and I think that this should be closer to a minus 220. Like,
I'm gonna put it
I
to you
don't.
this. I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just that we both
No,
have
you're
the same
good.
pick for the game. You're on the money line. I'm on the spread. I'm taking the minus 2.5 on UNC. I mean, I'm on the Drake May train as well. I mean, he's the number 2 quarterback this year for a reason. But yeah,
Is there like a reason why South Carolina is so close in this? Like, I don't.
their defense is
I
pretty
didn't even-
stellar, and they went
they
through
have a
lot
really
of
good run game too.
Yeah,
They can
like
keep
Okay.
they still have Spencer Rattler, I think, coming back too. So there's a reason why it's close. I agree with you. I think UNC does get the job done in that game. I'm on that game as well.
I'm kind of waiting to see what happens, and I might take a minus 7.5 alternate line for UNC.
Ooh, okay.
Love that. I love that. What do you have for a price on that currently? Do you have one?
I don't know right now. I can't.
I can find it in a second.
All right, bet. But also, one of my big plays is UMass, the spread. I have it at plus 37. It's down to plus 35 right now versus Auburn. Coming in with a brand new coach, Hugh Freeze. I think they come out with a win. It's at home, but I think it's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, you're a braver man than I am back in UMass. I mean, I live in
Well, I went
Massachusetts.
with them last week too, so I'm riding with them. I like what they've done in the offseason. I like their quarterback a lot. Can't
I
say
feel
it's
that.
yet, but
Minus 7.5 would be plus 235 on that UNC.
Then we got UCF touchdown here from Xavier Townsend. He just
Already?
scored with
nice.
10:56 left. I hope that they chill out. But like I said, Kent State I don't believe is going to be scoring many points tonight. So
Let me shoot 2 games at you guys real quick. I want to ask you guys' opinion because one is, what do you guys think about the Colorado TCU game?
I have a dash of the Colorado money line out here at plus 760. So I'm taking the full serving of them at plus 20.5. Dude, it's Coach Prime, man. It's Coach Prime and a whole new system. Like, what do you want from me, man? This very well could be a massive trap game for people like me.
TCU could be in revenge mode from the Natty.
They could be. They
have a new quarterback and a new offensive coordinator.
That is very true. And Max Duggan is not in. He's in the league now. He's playing with the Chargers. So.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I can't pronounce his first name, but the quarterback Sanders, who came in from the transfer portal, So I'm back in good quarterback play. That's what I like to see in college. I think that he's explosive. They added a couple of nice outside weapons from South Florida. Again, blanking on their names, but when I did my research, this is just a different team. It's a whole different team, pretty much from top to bottom, whole different program.
Prime brought in like the number 1 recruit in the nation from last year from over there, from Jackson State.
Exactly. They
50
having him
transfers.
Travis Hunter. That's who his name. Yeah,
50 transfers that came in, brand new. It's a totally different team.
That's insane. That's
Yeah,
They have a really
crazy.
good running back too. If he can get healthy, he'll do really well.
So yeah, I love them at plus 20.5 here, and like I said, I'm gonna sprinkle a little dash on the money line. I might honestly, I like this quite a lot now that we're thinking about it. Maybe a little money line like craziness with Colorado and West Virginia. I like West Virginia at plus 20.5. I'm just not a big believer in Penn State quite yet. They have to show it to me. So like again, West Virginia is I think plus 860 on that. So you put those two in a 2-leg parlay for $5, like you're probably pushing like $120 like payout there, maybe even more. So again, just a little sprinkle on that. I will be having the 20.5s in a lot of my plays this weekend. I believe that might just be like the West Virginia part. I'm pretty sure like I've always liked West Virginia. Don't ask me why. They've just been kind of one of my teams since like I was 12. So I'm riding with that.
Before I looked at bringing up the other game I wanted to ask, I didn't know if I double checked. Parlay Joe, what was the line you were looking at that TCU game and the Colorado game?
I think it's 20.5. 1 second.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, it's 20.5 right now. Looks like it opened at 21. It's come down a little bit. Come on, man. Sorry, my dog.
You're good. Bro,
I'm
we
looking
got
at the,
dog positive on this show.
yeah, we got 2 dogs on this show.
Look, he says hi to everybody who's watching. Oh, there's another dog. Look at the dog.
He's crazy.
Oh, he's biting me now. He's teething though, so it's okay. Ow. It's only okay sometimes. So what else do you like here, Matt? Well, we're
the
just
other
playing
game I
with
was
our
looking
puppies.
at was the Tulane game on Saturday night. It's right sitting
Okay.
there at that Tulane by a touchdown right now. And if you want to take it all, go ahead. But I like Tulane by a touchdown in this game. Michael Pratt, I think he's going to come in and show out. South Alabama has a very good team. They're loaded. They're returning like 19 or 20 of their starters, if I'm not mistaken. But I still think Tulane, they're going to be able to show out in their first game.
Word.
So I'm gonna have to go the opposite on this one.
We got our first disagreement. Woo!
Yeah, so I think there's a little battle rumbling around right now. I saw South Alabama came out with some uniforms that said "Home of Mardi Gras" and they're wearing them versus Tulane. Who's pretty sure they're from New Orleans.
Tulane's right in New Orleans, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. The thing I kind of like the plus 200 South Alabama from money line. It's time for the upset to come. Tulane's not what we think they are.
They don't have Tajay Spears anymore. I will say that. He was a game.
They don't have their running back. They listen to I don't know if you guys know Josh Pate, but he has them ranked at like 47, 49 in his rankings, which I 100% agree with. I do not think they're a top 25 team at all.
Yeah, because right now they're ranked at 24. So interesting point. Yeah.
So another play that I kind of like here. I don't know if I can buy into the the minus 38.5 on the USC Nevada game. I'm not sure if I can buy into the 40-point spread that they're rocking right now. But I
defense, I would rock any spread. Sorry.
You're good. You're good. I do kind of like the first quarter over 14.5 points for USC. I think that they come out the gate hot. They come out the gate strong with 2 possessions and 3 possessions in the first quarter and kind of put it up on them. So I do think that Nevada will have a chance to backdoor cover that game and ruin a lot of people's parlays that are just looking at the sheet and be like, oh, USC, yeah, I'll take that. But yeah, I'm trying to corner some markets whenever I can with Caleb Williams. Right now they're a little too high, so trying to find the little bit of exotic stuff that you can so I can have a little piece of that while I watch the possible Heisman, back-to-back Heisman.
Number 1 overall pick?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Parlay Joe, I'm pretty sure you wrote an article about that, bro.
I just did write an article about it. Talked about it's only been done by one person, Archie Griffin, 74 and 75. He was also a running back, not a quarterback. It's never panned out for anyone since then. I kind of feel like when I'm in spaces, we've talked about it, and we're like, dude, they just don't want to give it to someone 2 times in a row. It just doesn't make sense. It's not exciting. And then I also think he's going to plummet a little bit. That defense is going to end up suffocating him. Like, it's bad. It really is. 7 freshmen starting, and he still has a terrible defensive coordinator. It's not looking good for
the Lincoln Riley special.
The Lincoln Riley special. Defensive coordinator.
Oh man!
Why do you think Brett Venables is the coach at Oklahoma now? One of the country's best defensive coordinators before he became the coach there.
Yeah, literally him and it's Kirby and then him.
Yeah.
So what, Matt? What else do you like this weekend?
I don't know if I really like this game. I'd probably have to wait until Sunday to take a more of a look at it. But I just wanted to ask you guys' opinion on the Clemson Duke line. I was just eyeing it right now. It's sitting around 2 touchdowns. Clemson's a top 10 team in the league. And I mean, in the country, what's your guys' opinion? I'm kind of like, I'm on the fence about that game.
Who's their quarterback this year?
Cade Klubnik, and they have Garrett Riley, TCU's offensive coordinator now.
Ooh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they did bring
Okay.
him in.
So the thing about Duke for me is like the past couple of years, whenever I bet against Duke or on Duke, they do the opposite of what I bet them to do. So like I'm just kind of,
Hands off.
that's what I was, I'm just like I don't know how to bet you guys. Like whenever I do, I regret it. So
Instantly.
yeah, I'm just like, oh great, this is sick. Why'd I do that? There's my $5 to $10 being wasted down the drain. But yeah, so I kind of stay off that. One thing I do like here that I'm seeing is a later game on Saturday night. I like UCLA at -14 against Coastal Carolina. I think Coastal Carolina's gotten a lot of hype pretty much ever since the pandemic, but like they're still not one of those top tier schools. They still don't have like that brand recognition. They have a couple of decent players, but I think that UCLA at home, Coastal Carolina has to travel all the way across the country on that. They're gonna play in the
West
Pacific
Coast
time zone. Yeah, so I like the 14-point spread there. It's typically a little high for me, but this is college football. It's not the
Yeah.
NFL. 14 points is totally something that could happen. Yeah, so I'm kind of liking that UCLA game as well. Parlay Joe, you want to finish us off here with one more game, then we can talk about some recent developments and rule changes?
Yeah, definitely. Probably staying away from the Coastal game for right now. Let me think. So I do have another game that we haven't talked about yet. Colorado State. They are +11 right now. They open at +14.5, I think, versus Washington State. I don't see what Washington State really has. And I really like the line movement. I love where the money's at. 26% of the bets are on Colorado money line, with 87% of the money.
The Sharps have flown in.
The Sharps have said what they're. Yeah, exactly. The Sharps are on them. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm sure that line will keep coming down. I'll probably wait. If it goes down to 9, I'll probably hit it instantly.
Nice. I like that a lot. Getting some sharp knowledge in here.
No, yeah. One tidbit I wanted to get back on that Clemson game is when I'm looking at that spread and looking at that game, it's making me think under more in that game. Just because the Clemson, why they might have a new quarterback, stuff like that, their defense will show up in that game because it's an ACC game. So I'm thinking more under on that game versus tacking a spread or a money line on that game.
I like where your head's on too. I was thinking the same thing. I really like Duke's quarterback, Riley Leonard. I think he's going to do pretty well, but I mean, they might keep it close, but I don't think it's going to be a crazy like juggernaut game. I think it's going to be a very good defensively fought game.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, UCF just scored again. Oh no. So this is kind of looking. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kent State went 3 and out, and then UCF just rolled down the field and scored again. Pretty sure he ran off the read option here. Took it left off the left tackle, right up the sideline. See you later, guy.
See you later.
He's in the end zone now. So yeah, Matt, you want to kind of touch upon this rule change that came down, and how is this going to be affecting our bets and how we should be looking at our betting systems?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, then you guys were mentioning the Notre Dame game earlier, and you can tell. I mean, there was a tweet that was trending going from, I think it was Droff Schwartz, if I'm not mistaken, and it was that the first drive was a 12-play drive, and half the first quarter was gone. And only because of the new timing changes, which is similar to the NFL rules, which to explain it the quickest way, the clock does not stop for first downs anymore, unless they're within 2 minutes in the first half or second half, aka the end of the game and then halftime. So in that case, time will bleed unless you're getting out of bounds in certain situations. which will lead to quicker games in essence, I guess, but it's really for a little bit more ad time. But the essence of it, how it's affecting the game, is that if you're seeing a team that runs the ball a lot, you're almost always going to want to look at their under, because if they're going to be pounding the ball all game, they're going to be draining the clock even more than before in past years. And this is going to be the year to adjust. So you're going to want to jump ahead of the trend versus watching the trend.
Yeah.
think
We
that's
always
what-
want to get ahead of the trends. Always want to get ahead of the trends. You don't want to be stuck in the middle of the trend. You want to
Yeah.
get ahead of those things so you can, reclaim some of that money that we're spending out here. Joe, what do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think getting ahead of it is exactly what you want to do. I think that's what Nick Saban's doing right now. We're getting ready to run the ball. We're going to run the ball a lot. We have a quarterback who can run the ball too, so it's going to be pretty fun.
I just love the
If
way
you can
Parlay
run
Joe
the
said
ball
that.
in college football now, you control the clock completely. Exactly what happened in Notre Dame game. Same thing happening in the UTEP game. They got beat just because they could not run the ball. They were a passing team. They weren't getting the catches. It was game over once one team could score and they could just hold the ball the rest of the game.
Yeah. It's going to be huge this year. It's going to be instrumental in deciding our national champion, quite frankly, because if you can run the ball this year and you can do it effectively, you will go farther than before, because these new rules are going to help you be able to bend the clock into ways that will favor yourself. And if you're stopping the pass on top of it, well, you're going to be almost unbeatable.
Which is why LSU is going to do pretty well. And Tennessee, I think, is going to do well. They both have
The SEC West is just going to be there.
They both have their 2 or 3 teams with with 2 running backs on the preseason Doug Walker watch list. The only other team is Michigan. So those 2 teams are something to look out for.
I really like. Maybe this is just because I watched this game so intently. But I really, really like what Notre Dame's got cooking. I really like their running back. That Sam Hartman looked freaking lights out. I mean, he's playing with people who just probably won't play another down in the NFL like after this level, which, you know what? That's totally fine. Navy's got other things they got to worry about other than football. So,
Like the freedom of this country.
yeah, fighting for our lives and stuff like that, which we very much salute you for. But Jesus Christ, could you stop them once? No, you couldn't. They couldn't do it. I'm blanking on the name of the Notre Dame running back, but like you said, if you could run the ball, you can control the game. And this dude was just ripping off great run after great run, putting people in the ground. I was just like, come on, guys, can you just get a tackle? And he was like, no
Audrey
tackle.
to me, I think is how you
Yeah.
might pronounce it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was running over people.
I have their over 8.5 team game wins, so I'm watching that. So we already got one. So
Yeah, you definitely got one.
USC and Ohio State, so that's
Those are going to be good games for them, though. I think those are
really
going to be measuring stick games.
Speaking of USC and Ohio State, and you guys brought both teams up, so it made me think about it. I know we were talking about it earlier in the week when we were just among ourselves, but what are your guys' early predictions for this college football playoff we're about to have later this year?
I have one of our StadiumRant writers actually posted this in the channel. He asked us all to put our predictions in there. I'm pretty sure let me see. I had Notre Dame, USC, Georgia, and Ohio State in my Final Four. I'm sorry about the Alabama snub there, bud, but
I got Alabama, and Bama, so it works out.
Well,
yeah. Roll Tide, Crimson
I
Tide.
will also have Alabama in mind.
Nice.
Yeah, Bama's
the
Bama comeback, in my opinion. I really think Bama's gonna. My prediction fully was Georgia's the 1 seed. I have Bama as the 3 seed. I have Ohio State as the 2 seed. USC as the 4 seed. Bama meets Georgia in the finals and avenges the SEC championship loss they'll eventually face and beat Georgia and win the national championship this year. That's what I was looking at. It's really hard to three-peat much. I mean, they repeated. It's really hard to three-peat in the modern era. So, I mean,
Yeah, I think with the loss with Tennessee and the loss with Alabama in the SEC championship, it's going to be hard to get Georgia in there with 2 losses. But I really like LSU. My bad. I think they only get 1 loss, and that's Alabama. Honestly, I think Alabama. I'm going to be a homer about it. I think Alabama comes in undefeated, maybe 1 loss. Maybe Texas A&M. Watching that game, and then I have Alabama, LSU, Michigan, and Clemson.
Okay. Well,
Okay, that's a standout one. That one
you
stands
said
out.
Michigan, and that makes me
I
think.
think Clemson.
What's your guys' opinion on Harbaugh this year then? Because he might start out the season suspended.
Hey, yes, he does have to play the first 3 games suspended.
And that might affect how they.
It's not the biggest 3 games, I would say that.
Fair enough.
I also don't know how much that as long as Harbaugh's system is still there, I don't know how much he actually affects the game, if that makes sense. I do take into account in the NFL when the coaches and their coaches and coaching and they have somebody step up. But I feel like in college you have a lot more you just run your system. You got your system, you run it. The next dude up, just all right, I got the calling cards. I got you told me what's good. I'm gonna do what you told me, and then we're gonna still win these games because if it's the first 3, Michigan probably gets a crap team this week, right?
The spread's 30.
East Carolina. It's
so
36.
They're gonna win that game. Who knows? I don't know if they'll cover, but they're certainly winning the game. They're not losing to Eastern Carolina. I think that you would have to worry about that in the Notre Dame game or something like that.
Yeah,
but
they
I think
start
Harbaugh
off
would be
their
better.
schedule fairly nice, fairly easy. They have East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota. They don't really get into deep their games until later in the season.
Yeah, their last game of the season. That's
what you go, Joe.
No, I was just going to say they got Penn State and Ohio State. That's probably the only 2 games they're really worried about.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at right now. Yeah, exactly.
And the
it makes a lot of sense.
On the same division, so
it's like the SEC West up north.
Watch out for Wisconsin. They're won their division.
How do we feel?
Wisconsin and Iowa, those are the 2 that are there.
Why do you think the Big Ten championship is a boat race every year?
Yeah,
I remember when this shit used to be somewhat even. Or I remember when the bowl game, I don't know. I like the college football playoff. I like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But man, there's something about that 2005 Rose Bowl vibes. You know what I mean? I don't know. Back then, it felt so weird and a little bit random. But you'd get these fantastic matchups in these bowl games. Now it's the best team plays against not their competition level doesn't seem all that even in these bowl games anymore, and sometimes it leads to blowouts, and sometimes it just doesn't lead to a great product. Up until you get into the college football playoff, and then even then, you run into you run into the TCUs who are all right, we're a good team, but Georgia's got 25 people going to the league. All starting. What are we supposed to do about that? The answer was nothing.
Michigan, you really failed us last year. Michigan.
I wish Ohio State had won that game, honestly. Ohio State, beating Georgia, then playing against TCU might have been a little bit better of a product. But for all intents and purposes, the Ohio State-Georgia game was the championship. And that was a fantastic game.
Yeah, that decided who was the national champion last year.
Yeah, Ohio State would have won if Marvin Harrison didn't get hurt.
He got cracked in that hit, too. He got crushed. It was a dirty hit.
I never realized that Marvin Harrison Jr. was 6'4", and that just makes me freak out. I saw that a couple months ago, and I'm just huh? This guy
he
is
could definitely go
not...
number 2 right after Caleb in the upcoming year.
Hopefully, it goes number 3 to the Colts if we tank.
Dude,
Anthony
just get the
Richardson
two. Just get the
with
two
Marvin
spot.
Harrison Jr.
Well, I mean, Cardinals have Texans and them and themselves, so
I,
yeah, the
I
Cardinals
think the
do have
Texans
those
are going to
two
be
good.
slightly better than people think. I think they're going to be like
I
a
think,
top
yeah.
10 pick, but like 9 or 10. I don't think they're going to be in the top 5
I
this
think
year.
the Texans are going to have a lot more heart this year than we've seen in years past. Because
They had heart last year. It's quarterback play.
well, here's the
I
thing: Lovie
also-
Smith started that culture. You're right. That last year was the year with Lovie Smith, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's who. Yeah,
Yeah,
Got
Lovie
fired.
Smith was when they beat the Cowboys at the end of the year to get the second pick.
no, they beat my Colts at the end
Well,
of
they
the
beat
year.
the Colts at the end of the year to get the second pick.
Well, dude, Lovey
We got the
was
fourth
like,
touchdown.
oh,
We
you
went
guys.
up from 6-4 because of that.
Because that's how the Bears
Lovey-
got the first pick, and they traded it and
Yeah.
started their whole franchise off of that.
Lovey was literally like, oh, you guys are going to fire me and bring in D'Amico Ryans? Oh, watch this. Check this shit out.
Hold my beer. Watch this.
Yeah,
I will go help
Yeah.
out my old squad. This is for you, Chicago.
yeah, you want to fire me? You wanna get
Literally,
rid of
this
me
is for
after
you,
that?
Chicago.
They should have told him after that game that he was getting moved on because they might have lost. I like D'Amico Ryans quite a lot. I think he's a culture changer. I think that defense is going to be fantastic. Well, maybe not fantastic, but for the Texans from
They're
where
going to
they
be
were,
budding. They're going
there.
to be a budding star.
Yeah.
They have stars all over the field, to be honest. Devin Singletary Jr., whatever it is. Stingley Jr., Devin Stingley Jr. And then you have Will Anderson Jr. Jeez. Like, they have players.
Will Anderson's.
So my thing on Marvin Harrison, last kind of thing on that, I ended up having the Colts select him, and what I like comped it to was the Bengals having T. Higgins already, who was a great wide receiver, but like, is he a full-on alpha? Probably, maybe, who knows? They had Jamar Chase and make him a 1B, and he's one of the best 1Bs in the league, easily. I think that if they add Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Colts, that Michael Pittman, Marvin Harrison Jr. group is very similar to the Jamar Chase. Yeah, Jamar Chase,
Yeah,
T.
we only
Higgins.
have
Like, that's
three
a
wide
similar thing.
receivers right now.
I'll tell you this,
Mhm.
though.
4.
Marvin Harrison Jr. has a chance to be almost the next, like, Justin Jefferson type. Like, I'm not trying to overhype it, and I know I'm using the best receiver, probably young receiver in the league right now, but like that's the type of ability he has with his speed, ability, route running, getting open across the field, diving. Like,
He's already a top 5 wide receiver
Jerry
in the
Rice.
NFL.
He's Jerry
He
Rice.
already is.
He's going to take over the game.
that's kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah, like he's special. He's one of those ones. He's one of them dudes.
He is. He's him. I promise you. He's so
Wow.
So good. Parlay.
Kent State just kicked a field goal that
So
literally
good.
bounced off of the goalpost into the field goal. It went like this. They just kicked the field goal. It went like this. That was the worst kick I've ever. That's me kicking out there. That was tough. It like literally bounced off of the goalpost and flipped inside. So it was like a 40-yard field goal. But update, it's 14-3, UCF. So I would like
We
them
like
to
where that's
chill
at.
out. Yeah, don't mind that. So yeah, I think we kind of got through all of our best bets. We did a little bit of nonsense and bullshit talk, which is totally fine. Got a little Marvin Harrison Jr. debate in there. Talked about how we really or getting ahead of the trend in the college football game now with the clock changes and not stopping after every play or every first down, I should say, unless it's in the 2-minute warnings of each half.
Each half, yeah.
Each half, yeah. So I think that we went over everything we were going to go over. Do we want to just recap our kind of top 3 plays here real quick?
Yeah, so just to take a look, the main thing is the parlay for the plus 350, which would be the Nebraska plus 8.5, the under at 46.5, as well as the Florida plus 6.5, the Florida game on that, all together for about plus 350 together. And then my main play of the weekend is the LSU minus 2.5. Those are the main things.
Or Joe, what do you got again?
I got Nebraska. I got I love UMass. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love South Florida, and I really like Colorado State as well.
Hey, getting some USF in there. That's my old school. I went there.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nice.
dude. Every time I watch them on highlight reels, it's always the other team's best player shitting on them. So I watched Dalvin Cook run amongst like that was bad. It
But
was
people don't
really
understand.
bad.
Dalvin Cook in college was like almost a demigod. Like he was.
He
pure,
was.
like,
Yeah,
when you saw
Florida
the number
State.
4 in the
Nice.
Seminole jersey, he was scary.
Dude, our defensive lineman would hop on his back and he would straight run with him on there for 200 yards. I was like, oh, this is sick. I'm so glad I came to this game to watch us get smoked. Then Jonathan Taylor, too. He did it as well from Wisconsin. He had that 6 touchdown game that I watched on. It was on live TV.
Y'all. Oh, God.
Yeah, it was USF. It was bad. I was like, oh, sick. I get to watch USF. They're on live national TV. What's good? Let's go. I watched like literally 40 minutes of the game. He had fucking 4 touchdowns already. I was like, yo, anybody tackle that man? The answer again was no. They could not. They could not tackle him. So yeah, good. Thank you for shouting them out. Got some good memories from that. My plays of the week are. So this is a little money line bonanza here for the Colorado money line and the West Virginia money line. That both are over plus 700. So if you add those two together and throw $10 on that, that's probably like I don't have it off the top of my head right now. Here, let me look real quick. It's probably a substantial play there. Also, I like the Hawaii Stanford over 55.5, and I like UNC's money line on those games there. But other than that, let me just find this here, and just so I can kind of say it, so I know that I said it. Colorado and where are you at? Yeah, the TCU West Virginia game. Or no, the West Virginia.
No, I mean,
Why can't I find it now? Now I need to find it, and I'm geeking out.
You might have, depending on which app you use, you might have to go to Saturday.
I was on games. Now I'm on featured, so hopefully that goes to where I want it to go.
Let me double check it for you real quick. I got you.
Yeah, I'm about to pull it up. I'm about to have it right here.
Oh, a $10 play on that's worth $770. Woo is right. So yeah, it's probably not gonna happen. But if you want to sprinkle a little money on that, your return on investment is there for you. It's week one. So we don't really have all that many statistics to go off of. Both teams are very different now that they're playing, and so who knows? It's called gambling for a reason, fellas. It's called gambling for a reason, and we're called the Gritty Gamblers for another reason.
You got to risk it for the biscuit.
Hell yeah, and that's what we're all about over here. So I'm going to go ahead and play this intro because it's our outro, and we can get on out.
I bet I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.